The other idea that I want to play around with and talk about more is this idea of culture. There's a lot of people talking about this and what that means. I was listening to somebody, I won't say who, yesterday, talking about culture, but I think the way that they meant it was more, I don't know, it felt like more talking, the person was talking about personal ethics, which is fine. But I mean, personal ethics are one thing, like the choices that you make that are right for you in a moment, whether that's who you're dating or how you interact with other people, or the choices you make for like who you work for or with. That's one thing, but to me, that's personal ethics. That's not culture. And you don't create culture as an individual. I'm sorry. That's not what culture is. Um, and there's also been a lot of talk about cults recently. And I feel as if, in a lot of ways, we're in the same position we were in the 60s, where people are like trying to find their way and they get into these kind of cults that I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said for cults. People need structure. People need to be told what to do. You can't just make up stuff from scratch, and if you think you can, you're lying. Um, because I don't know, maybe it's just, like it's the water in which you swim is a culture. Like there's a legacy that comes before you of people who have tried things and figured out what works, and just like throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying that you can't do that, like, oh, we'll just make it up. It doesn't really work. So I think there's some confusion about the difference between like a culture and the social, even, I know the social contract is kind of a bad word too. But it's true, like we all live together and there's rules of behavior that we all adhere to keep society going. That is a culture, and we have rules of engagement. And your personal ethics are not a culture, do not make a culture. And your personal ethics come from culture. They're not something that you're making up ad hoc or I don't know. Yeah, ad hoc, that's the right expression. So again, I have lots of thoughts. I would love to continue this conversation and talk about this more. But I am in the middle of making my lunch. And I will, yeah, let's continue this.